Hi guys, it's me. I promised you a video comparing the diffusers that you can choose from for your premium starter kit, and I'm a little late on that, so I'm going to do that one really quickly this evening. Before I do start that, I wanted to just clarify one thing, that the two diffusers that I'm going to talk about tonight are just available in the premium starter kits that come to the United States distributors and customers. So there is a different diffuser that is being sent to Canada. It's called the Dewdrop. I do not have it, but my mom did receive it earlier this week, so I don't have much information and I cannot show that to you. But the ones that I will show tonight and focus on are the United States diffusers in the premium starter kits. So the first one, this is with a $150 premium starter kit. This is called the Home Diffuser. As you can see, it's kind of shaped a little bit like a flower. It's got a bit of a top on it that's kind of like a rose petal. When you take off the top, you will notice inside a couple of different things. The first thing is this line down here is the fill line for the water basin. And then in the very bottom, that is kind of the diffuser plate, and that is what allows the oils to actually diffuse into the air. So you want to make sure that the diffuser plate is always pretty clean, because that will affect the properties of the oils, and it will also affect whether the diffuser works well or not. So if you ever have trouble with your diffuser, the first thing I would suggest is dumping out any water and cleaning it really well. And you will receive in your box with your diffuser this little sponge, and this is actually what it's for. It's for cleaning your diffuser. So you can just take it, just kind of run it around the inside, and then just stick it on that little plate and just spin it. I actually clean mine between uses as much as I can. So if I'm diffusing in the morning, then when I'm ready to diffuse again in the afternoon or the evening, I will dump out any remaining water, and then I'll just go through this really well and clean it. The thing is that some of the oils that we use have a little bit of a color to them, or a tint. So you will notice, and you'll see in my other diffuser, that the oils will actually change the color of the inside. So you just want to be sure that it's as clean as possible, mainly just for the effectiveness of the diffuser. So this diffuser holds roughly a half a cup of water, and this home diffuser, it's actually recommended that you use distilled water. I'm not exactly sure why, but that is what I use. I have not tried tap water or any other kind of water, so I can't speak to the performance of it if you do, but that is what's recommended, is some distilled water. So once you've poured your water inside, looking for my oil bottle, then you can go ahead and add your oils to the water. Now, one thing to note is on your paperwork that comes with the diffuser, you may notice that it says in a few different places like 8 to 10 drops of oil. I have never put 8 or 10 drops of oil in my diffusers. First off, to me, that's a little bit wasteful. Secondly is it can be a little bit overwhelming maybe the first couple of times that you try it. So I would just suggest when you're first starting that you maybe try 2 drops, and then you can work your way up. I have not put any more than 6 drops in my diffuser at one time. So I'm just going to put 1 drop in for right now so you can see how that works. So you just drop your oil in, and then you put the lid back on. The home diffuser covers roughly 300 square feet when you're diffusing, and it has 2 time settings. So it will run continuously for 3 hours, or you can set it for an alternating 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and that lasts around 5.5 hours. So once you've got your water and your oil and you've got the lid on, then you're just going to plug it in. There's a button here on the front, just beneath the Young Living logo, and the first time you hit it, that is your continuous setting of 3 hours. So you can maybe hear that. That's the motor. There's a little green light at the bottom, and there's also a pretty significant light here in the top. It's great if you want to have a night light in a child's room, but you also may not want the light, so I'll show you how to turn that off in just a minute. The second setting, if you want to do the 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, is you just hit the button again. You'll see that that light changed to red, and then that will change the setting to 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And if you don't want the light, all you have to do is hold the button one more time for about a count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the light will go off. So that is what you can do with the home diffuser. It shuts off automatically, so you don't have to worry about turning it off or unplugging it. It does that on its own when it kind of reaches, the water level reaches a certain place in the bottom of the basin. It just automatically shuts off. And then there you can see it shut off for its 30 seconds. So I will turn this one off altogether so that I can show you the bamboo diffuser. And then that's just the setting for that. We'll unplug. So again, this is the home diffuser for $150. Covers roughly 300 square feet in diffusing. And then your second option is the bamboo diffuser. Obviously, it looks a little bit different, a little more aesthetically pleasing maybe to some, a little more contemporary looking. It doesn't really have any specific differences except that the time setting is, there's 2 time settings on this one, and the square footage coverage is a little bit different. So I'll talk about that in a minute. The function of this one is really not much different. It's just you add the water a little differently. So you take this lid off, show you the inside. Now this one is, as you can see, it's much dirtier. It's stained. They do recommend on this particular diffuser that you just use regular tap water. So I am guessing that that's maybe the difference between tap water and distilled water possibly, is that you're going to get a little bit more discoloration. I can't say that for sure, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. You will also get the little sponge with this one, and I actually do clean it. Usually this one, it takes just a little more scrubbing, but if you kind of scrub in there a little bit more, you can get some of that off. But this is after several days of use without me cleaning it. Inside of this one, there's not a fill line, but you can see this little red marker. That is the water marker. So that's the level that you want to get your water to. You don't want it to go over it, and you just want it just beneath that, slightly beneath that red mark. And then down in the very bottom, you see the little plate. That's the diffuser plate. So again, you want to make sure that that's well cleaned, keep any debris off there. That's going to help the diffusing properties of the oils and just to make sure that it's working properly. In this one, there's a couple of directional things. There's an arrow on this side. When you put the lid back on, it has an arrow as well, so you can match it up, make sure it's in the proper direction. And then there's a little hole over here. It's called the ventilation hole. So if you'll notice here, there's a little warning label. And what that tells us is that you don't want to pour water in or out of this side of the diffuser. So when you are pouring water out, you want to pour water out in this direction. My guess is that if we get water down into that ventilation hole, it may run down inside, actually into the motor of the unit, so you don't want to get it wet. So that's how this one is. And basically, this one does actually come with its own little cup. It's kind of a little measuring cup, and it's again roughly half a cup of oil. Of water. Not half a cup of oil. Do not put a half a cup of oil. And then again, I'll just do 1 drop of oil. Actually, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do 4. I'll have this ready for the morning. And I do use 4 generally. So then you just put the lid back on. Oops, in the direction that it indicates. It has a plug as well. And the functions of this one, the time settings are actually on the cord. There's a little functional dial here. So there's off in the center, and there's 4 hours and 1 hour, and I'll just turn it to the 1 hour setting right now. This diffuser is just a little quieter. It has a very dim light at the bottom. It's not quite a night light, so it's just kind of lets you know that it's sitting, and then it's diffusing. So really, again, the difference between this one is the square footage coverage. I don't know that I said it yet, but this one covers roughly 1,000 square feet. So I keep this in my downstairs open area, living room, dining room combo, kitchen, and that way I can get more coverage throughout the rooms. The home diffuser is great for bedrooms because that's roughly the size of our bedrooms, around 300 square feet or so. And the time settings were 4 hours continuous and 1 hour continuous. There are no alternating settings on this one. You can't have it on and off. It's just continuous. And the light is another difference, a very dim light here. The size, the shape, the same amount of water, except that this one does use just tap water. They recommend you can just use tap water. And the other is distilled water. So that's all I have. If you have any questions about the diffusers themselves, go ahead and shut this one off. Please feel free to let me know. You know, a lot of times I think people just get the less expensive version when they first start. That's what I did. Perfectly fine. And you'll decide, you know, if that's the one that you want to continue with, or if you might want to add a second diffuser later on at some point. And I definitely have. I have 3 home diffusers and 1 bamboo diffuser now, because it's just nice to not have to not to have to carry diffusers in and out of rooms and up and down stairs. So that's all I have. I hope you guys have a great evening. And if you have any questions about diffusers, let me know. Good night.